this video, I'm going to cover using the Roland GR-500 guitar synthesizer as a controller for an external analog synthesizer. So I've got an ARP Odyssey hooked up here. It's about the same vintage maybe as the GR-500. At least, well, this is a reissue, but the original, we're talking about 70s era synthesizers. The pitch output from the GR-500 is going to the pitch input on the Odyssey. The gate plus output is going to the gate input. And you may not expect this, but I'm taking the high-level audio output from the Odyssey and plugging it into the external synth input on the GR-500. The reason I'm doing that is we have a dedicated section here for the external synthesizer, and this allows me to use the controls on the guitar to blend in to control the mix between the ARP Odyssey and any other section that I'm using here on the GR-500. So let me see, here's just the guitar sound. I'm going to turn down the guitar, and it's kind of fun when I turn down the LED for the guitar section gets dimmer and dimmer, then it goes off. I'm going to activate the poly ensemble section. So that's our poly ensemble. I'll turn that off. Here is our bass section. Let me turn the volume up on that. And finally, let's look at the solo melody. So I've got an 8-foot square and an 8-foot ramp wave. You can hear a little bit of envelope, a little bit of a pulse width modulation. The tracking on the GR-500, I think, is going to be the best tracking that you're going to find. And the reason I say that is that each string has a dedicated pitch detection circuit, and each string is optimized for the frequency response of that string. So we would do filtering that makes the A string track really well, and those values would be very different for the B string. So we have optimized filtering for each string, and to do that requires a hexaphonic pickup system, and it also requires these dedicated pitch detection circuits. You can hear everything works really, really well on the GR-500. And then we've got the ARP Odyssey hooked up, so I'm going to turn down the output from the solo melody. I am going to turn on the external synth, and now here is the ARP Odyssey. Let's check our tuning. We'll play them both together. There's a little bit of noise in there. There's something a little funky about the solo melody section in this GR-500. Now in the external synth section, we have a touch response control, which I have turned off. That's so that the harder you play, the louder or softer the synth will be. Let's just turn that on. Don't hear a big difference there. I'm going to go ahead and switch that back off. We do have a transpose knob, and according to the manual, 8 foot should be unison pitch. So let's hear both synthesizers together. And what's really cool is we can turn the transpose switch, which gives us, I believe it's thirds, fifths, and sevenths. the infinite sustain system. Once I hold a string down, that note will continue to hold until I take my finger off the string. There's also a Portamento section, and I don't think I mentioned this before. There's an external tuning offset knob. Seems like it's drifting a little bit there. Anyway, the Portamento works on both the internal synth and the external synth. So let's switch Portamento on. And we've got a switch on the guitar to turn Portamento on and off. There's the Portamento time. The first GR-500s locked the pitch of the solo melody to the strings on the guitar, just like the bass section right now. If I play the bass section, it's exactly the same pitch as the regular strings. So the bass section always is whatever pitch the string is. With the upgrade that Roland offered for the GR-500, there's a tuning offset that offsets the pitch of the solo melody, and there's a knob on the back. So if you're thinking about picking up one of these, you might look for the model that does have the tuning offset knob on the back of the unit. Also, those ones that do not have the tuning offset knob, the Portamento feature only works on the external synth. That's why we see it in the external synth section. Anyway, I hope this video gave you some insights into the amazing Roland GR-500 and gives you some ideas about how, if you're thinking about controlling an external analog synthesizer, the GR-500 and the GS-500 guitar really do offer quite a system.